the new EV6 from Kia. It's their first purpose-made electric car, and its combination of space-age looks, fast charging, great range, and £41,000 price tag make it a tempting option for anyone considering the switch to EV. Kia had just one EV6 at Munich, which they agreed to let us borrow, but only if we return the favour.
Now, Jason, I know you're excited to drive the EV6, but there's a bit of a catch. It's a prototype car. There's only 11 of these in existence. It costs hundreds of thousands of pounds. No disrespect, but they know what you like, yeah? So we've got to get it back in one piece, but also we've got to get it back to their European headquarters tonight.
Well, that's about 400 kilometres away.
Yeah.
Mind you, it gives me a right good chance to get a good thrashing.
Less of the thrashing, please. Just be careful with it. All right, check this out.
Really?
Is that him doing that on that key?
Auto summon.
Mate, you're a witch.
How cool is that? I'll drive.
So the mission is simple. Deliver the priceless prototype 243 miles from Munich to Kia's HQ in Frankfurt before the end of their working day. As the Union Jack stickers suggest, this EV6 is destined to come to Britain as Kia's press car.
Have you got spiders on your shirt?
Yeah.
Why have you got spiders on your shirt?
Because it's quite an amazing shirt.
I worry about your fashion sense.
I think you find it's exceptional. So come on then, Rory, give me some numbers.
Okay, so this is the GT line version. It's got 2 motors, 321 horsepower, 446 pound-feet. So as much power as Golf R, as much torque as an Audi RS5.
That's plenty, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit heavy, so just over 2.1 tons, but it's an SUV, right? It'll still do 0 to 62, they say, in just under 5 seconds, which is...
Well, mate, that's quick in anyone's book.
Absolutely.
What will it do top speed?
A massive 115 miles an hour.
What, how do you mean 115?
Well, it's limited. I mean, you don't need to go quicker than that anyway. In the UK, the speed limit's...
But mate, we're in Germany.
This is true.
Well, anyway, let's find some autobahns and let's stretch its legs.
But before Jason gets ahead of himself, we had to find our way out of the city, and that gave us some time to admire the interior and prod all the buttons.
Some stuff in here I've never seen in a car before. You know, some new materials like this on the dashboard. I like that. There's little hidden lights in here. They're cool. 2 big displays. You've got a little blind spot on your main display.
That's cool.
A camera pops up to show you down either side of the car.
That is really
That's
cool.
Genius.
That needs to be in every single car.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's full of kit.
The EV6 can travel 328 miles on a single charge, thanks to its 6 power-saving regen braking modes.
Which can go all the way from like soft right up to one pedal, which they call I-pedal.
I haven't touched the brake pedal in this entire time. The car's just stopping itself when I lift off.
Having successfully navigated our way out of Munich, we were ready to see how the EV6 performed on the open road.
There is a bit of body roll in this, even though the batteries are quite low down in the chassis. There is a bit of movement, but I like that. I don't like these cars that have these anti-roll systems where the body doesn't move flat. It's not a sports car, but it's capable. And if you want to, you know, send it on quite a twisty road and have a bit of a giggle, it will embarrass itself totally.
There's a parking space down here. Don't be greedy, let me have a go.
There's another place, about 10 miles up there. That's an even better road. What?
You've been hogging this car all day.
Right, I'll pull in here.
Thank you so much. What sort of seat position is that?
What sort of shirt is that?
Kia reckons its electric global modular platform is engineered to offer improved cornering performance and driving stability at speed. With 2 British touring car championships under his belt, Jason's probably the best person to put those claims to the test.
Do you know what? That throttle response is great, isn't it?
It's like a light switch.
Isn't it great?
It is a predominantly rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah. Steering is really precise. Yeah, the ride quality's good. I mean, I know these are German roads, so they're better than ours, but I think this is a really good bit of kit, eh?
Yeah, decent.
With the winding country roads behind us, the Autobahn lay straight ahead to Frankfurt.
No, mate, I reckon before we got this high-speed runs, we should check out the high-speed charging that the Germans have got. Give it maximum juice. Now, Kia reckon this will charge 210 miles in 21 minutes. which is pretty quick thanks to its 800 volt super fast architecture. Now, unfortunately, we haven't got many of these in the UK. These are 350 kilowatt chargers, but there's loads in Germany. So whilst this is juicing up, I'll go get some lunch.
No, you get some drinks.
Yeah.
I'll sort lunch.
Okay.
With the car topped up, I could test out Kia's vehicle-to-load function, an EV's way of giving some of its charge back. With the use of a special adapter, the exterior charging port can also be turned into a 3-pin plug, which can power anything that draws up to 3.6 kilowatts of electricity.
Mate, I'm liking your style.
Come on.
What exciting vehicles to look forward to in the coming years. And our EV6 road trip was the perfect way to top off our German adventure. If this Kia is anything to go by, then our EV future is looking very good indeed.
Hey guys, please like and subscribe to the video. Thank you, bye.
And I've come here for this one. It's called the Sian, and every stat about it is incredible. 0 to 62 is dealt with in just 2.8 seconds. It'll go on to 217 miles an hour, and lurking under those louvres is an 812 horsepower V12. Oh, and the price? It's £3 million.
But hang on a minute, we are now fifth gear recharged. So why am I here to drive something that's got petrol power?
Well, the clue is in the name.
In this part of Italy, Sian means a flash of lightning. Yes, this is Lamborghini's first ever hybrid car.
It's a hybrid in a very Lambo way. More on that later, but for now, let's just have some fun. Am I excited?
You bet I am. I could not get here fast enough. And we're off. Now, providing you don't fiddle about with anything, the car will automatically start up in Strada, or street mode, and that's where everything is the most comfortable and the softest, so the suspension, the steering, and the throttle response. It is very easy just to pootle about in this, but I still get that wonderful sense that I am in something very theatrical and dramatic. But I really can feel my width when other cars and buses go by. I am big.
At 2 meters, 26 centimeters.
Oh gosh, here comes a lorry. Breathe in.
The Sian is almost a whole fridge wider than your average family hatchback.
Oh, I can tell though that this car is just itching to show me what it's got. Buongiorno Sport. I think I'll give the girl a bit of a dab. You don't even have to be going that fast to have that oral pleasure. I feel exhilarated, and I haven't even tickled a tenth of what this car can do.
The Sian is based on the Lambo Aventador SVJ, which is a mere £500,000. So, where has all the extra cash gone?
Well, for starters, the Sian has a bespoke carbon fibre body and paint scheme.
But mainly it's because of the hybrid bit I mentioned earlier. The electricity the Sian uses comes from a supercapacitor. These, in very simple terms, can store a small amount of energy which can then be released very quickly. They're expensive, but they do have big advantages.
Supercapacitors charge up very quickly, and with this car, that happens by pressing the brakes briefly because there's a regenerative system going on in there.
These bursts of energy to the engine fill in the gaps in power delivery during gear changes, letting you go quicker and carry less weight than a traditional hybrid. How very Lambo.
There is no slack in this system. On the suspension, the brakes, the steering, everything is so sharp. What a joy. And they call this a hybrid. I half want to be outside it, appreciating the noise and the drama.
If you've set your heart on a a supercapacitor-powered Sian, then I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Lambo has pre-sold all 63 of them.
The Sian is very much a stepping stone, an introduction of electricity to the model lineup. It's also a way to show that Lambo can think outside of the box without alienating its hardcore V12-loving clientele.
Lamborghini has announced that by 2024 it'll only be producing hybrid electric sports cars. But if the Sian is anything to go by, we've got nothing to worry about. It is taking my breath away, literally.
A recent survey suggested the biggest barrier to owning an EV was cost. It's true, electric cars are more expensive than their petrol-powered counterparts. But I think you have to look beyond the showroom prices and factor in the long-term running costs. My colleague and custom car maker Jimmy DeVille is clinging to the idea that his beloved petrol power
Listen to that.
costs less overall. So, to help me finally settle this score, I've taken the UK's best-selling car from last year, the Voxel Corsa, and I'm going to put it up against the EV version, which costs nearly 20% more than its petrol-powered twin.
So, almost £4,500 more. My case is closed, Rory, and I'm out of here.
Hang on, how about we look at the total cost of ownership over, say, 4 years?
That is a lot of ground to make up, Rory.
Challenge accepted. Should we start by looking at the petrol version?
Come on in, I'm
Right.
driving.
First, a couple of constants. We'll assume that each car has been bought using the UK's most popular way for buying a car, a monthly PCP contract over 4 years, and base our sums on both doing the UK average mileage of 7,500 miles per year.
And this is where the math starts.
Yes. So I'm going to break out my little calculator.
I knew you'd bring that along. That is a magnificent piece.
I'm not overcompensating for anything.
With an MPG figure of 48.7 and petrol at £1.31 a litre, it will cost you £913.95 to cover 7,500 miles. Over 4 years, that's £3,655.
See, that's already got me worried because this car was about...
We'll achieve 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. We know we're going to do 7,500 miles per year. Break out your calculator, please.
I have been looking forward to this. I mean, this is quite a thing, isn't it?
It is a hell of a thing. So can you put in 7,500
Okay.
divided by 3.8?
So my kilowatt hours
Yep.
equals... So I'm going to need 1,973 kilowatt hours per year to drive my 7,500 miles. And when you multiply that by the cheap electricity tariff of 5p per kilowatt hour,
You're going to love this.
you get...
What's the number? What's the number?
No,
What's the number?
this is a dodgy calculator. £98.68p to drive 7,500 miles.
A year.
Is that honestly right?
Yeah, honestly.
That's ridiculous.
But let's be generous to the petrol car and assume that instead of a super cheap electricity rate, you're more likely to be using your regular household electricity tariff. That figure jumps from £98 to about £290. So around 1,100 quid when spread out over 4 years. But still less than a third of the petrol cost.
What about the running costs of the vehicle?
Electric.
It's executive EVs as the brand new Polestar 2 goes up against the mighty Tesla Model 3.
Oh, even a bit of oversteer.
And our German expedition takes a turn for the weird.
What the hell is that?
I knew you'd like it.
What is it?
Welcome back to Germany, where Rory and I have already taken a glimpse of our EV future at the Munich Motor Show.
Hey, I like that.
Suicide doors.
But for day 2 of our adventure, I've taken Jason to the outskirts of Munich for an exclusive look at a prototype EV unlike any other on the road today.
So this is going to be exciting. I mean, I'm thinking, 1,000 horsepower, gull-wing doors, something exciting.
I'll stop you there. It's more economical. Think people's car. Come on.
Okay.
Sono Motors was founded in 2016 when its 3 founder members spotted a gaping hole in the EV market. They designed, developed and built a prototype, and they're now ready to start producing this, the Scion. It might look like an ordinary EV, but behind these recyclable plastic body panels lurks an innovation that could revolutionize the way people power their cars. But before I let Jason in on the secret, I want to get his take on the styling.
Jason, what do you reckon to this then?
I mean, the first thing I notice is it's quite boxy.
It's a minivan.
Yeah?
Everything's an SUV now. Minivans are coming back. Not convinced, are you?
No, not at the moment.
All right, well, let me help you out. Give you a few of the key specs on this thing. It'll do 190 miles on a single charge.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right, and here's how you charge it, right? The charge port is at the front.
Right.
It folds down, and then you've got
There's a bit going on
so
there.
many different port options. This one is a Type 2 that you can actually use to plug in other electric cars and charge them up at 11 kilowatts.
Well, that's quicker than a normal wall box, isn't it?
Exactly. Let me show you the boot, because this is properly good. Check this out, right? Bosch. 650 litres. And because of the shape,
Right.
it's so easy to load stuff in there.
I can see that Jason was still puzzled about why this was a revolutionary vehicle, so time to drop the first little bombshell.
What the hell is that?
Oh, I knew you'd like it.
That's what I like it. I want to know what is it?
It's moss.
What's that doing in the car?
Basically, so it's a natural filter. It's like a magnet, but for filth. So it absorbs all the pollution and the CO2 that's emitted by other cars, petrols and diesels, and takes it out of the cabin before you have a chance to breathe it in.
So it's like a trendy-looking on-view HEPA filter-ish type thing.
Looks cool though, doesn't it?
I do quite like the look of it.
You like it, don't you? Go on, level with me. What do you think?
I mean, it's just a new electric vehicle with some trendy moss and quite boxy sides.
Right, I thought you'd be like this. So here's what I'm going to do. Right, I'll take you outside.
Yep.
I'm going to show you the #1 feature in this car.
Oh, so it isn't up the moss?
Oh, no, it gets better. Right, Jason, there's a reason I wanted to bring you out into the sun to reveal the pièce de
I've
résistance.
clocked it.
You clocked it?
Yeah, now I have.
Solar-powered car, mate. Covered in solar panels. Look at that.
248 solar panels integrated into the car's bodywork mean that the Scion can be driven independently of the grid.
It's cool, isn't it? It's cool.
It's clever. It's clever. They reckon that you can harvest around 15 miles a day of free energy, just like that.
And you know, I'm quite impressed that they managed to integrate it pretty well, haven't they?
It's kind of genius, isn't it, really?
And here's the really clever bit. If you install the Scion charging box, then you can actually power your home for up to a week at a time, just from your car's battery.
We also have to remember that not everybody has access to a charging point at home. So this car, without the need to plug in every day, you can leave it parked outside your house
Sure,
without having to plug in.
So yeah, there is a hole in the market for this. Clever. Clever.
Should I have a drive?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah, go on. See, now I like the moss even more now.
Because this car is just a test mule, it isn't road legal. So our drive is confined to the private roads of this industrial estate.
What do you reckon?
Feels like an electric car.
It does, doesn't it?
That feels very normal.
Yeah.
I guess it is. It is normal, isn't it?
So it's got 160 horsepower, 270 newton meters of torque,
Top speed?
86 miles an hour.
hotly contested EV market, high-performance luxury EVs. And I'm dialing in my F1 know-how to find out which is the quickest. US company Tesla have drawn a line in the sand when it comes to electric cars, with a blistering turn of pace, which is why the 50 grand Model 3 is the world's most popular EV. In 2020, Tesla sold 365,000 of them. But fresh off the boat from Sweden is this. It's the all-new Polestar 2. Polestar used to be Volvo's Skunkworks racing division, but now the company is flying solo as an all-electric car manufacturer. And with the Polestar 2, they're going straight for Tesla's jugular. Both cars are quick, luxury EVs, but at 46 grand, the Swede is 4,000 pounds cheaper than the American. Performance on both cars is very close, with the Tesla pipping the Polestar on acceleration, but the Swedish car makes up for the extra weight with its beefier torque. Has the time come for the upstart to dislodge the king's crown? It's all down to which car can clock the fastest lap around the track, and first up, it's the Tesla.
There's 476 horsepower and 575 newton meters of torque under my right foot. And remember, the Model 3 is Tesla's entry-level car. Now, all this power is wonderful, but of course, here in the UK, we have corners.
And that might be a problem, because the Tesla is over 100 kilos more than the similar-sized Bmw 3 Series. This thing should handle like a truck, but I was in for a surprise.
The front of the car turns in beautifully well. I do like how positive the steering is. As soon as I turn the wheel, it reacts well, and the back of the car does pivot around that front axle. It's nice. Ooh, even a bit of oversteer.
However, there's no doubt that the car's agility is helped by how the weight is positioned.
The battery sits at the bottom of the car, and there's actually an even split between the front and the rear, so it's actually very well distributed. Let's get on the brakes. Doesn't quite stop as well as I would like. Great punch, I have to say, out of that final corner. Right, let's do a time lapse. Coming up towards the bus stop, on the brakes. Oh, stop. Front end super positive in these slow speed corners. Changing direction is actually very good. Steps out of line just a little bit there, but it's nice to drive. Oh, and up to the line.
The Tesla completes the lap in 47.34 seconds. Over to the Swede.
My first impressions, I really like it. I think the ride quality is great, the steering feel is nice.
Although the Polestar has a similar sized 78 kilowatt battery to the Tesla, there are noticeable differences when it comes to power and torque.
It gives away about 68 horsepower, although it does have 85 more Newton meters of torque.
This particular car is fitted with an optional 5,000 pound performance pack, which includes uprated brakes and suspension.
You might say that's cheating, because of course we're trying to compare the two. But it now means that the two cars are very similar in price. In fact, there's only about £800 difference between them.
But in spite of this option, the Polestar doesn't feel as quick, and that's probably because it's even heavier than the Model 3.
It weighs 276 kilos more. That's 4 Karun Chandoks. In terms of the actual body roll, the car feels quite stable. It's got a lot of understeer in it, though.
So as well as being a bit slower in a straight line, it may also corner a bit reluctantly.
I would guess the lap time is going to be slower. Let's try and do a hot lap. It doesn't punch as quickly as the Tesla up to the corner. Wow, I can actually brake deeper despite the weight of it. The change of direction, it's not as nimble, it's not as agile. I'm trying to chuck it around the bus stop.
But against the odds, and maybe due to its great brakes, the Polestar leads the Tesla by 0.4 of a second at the first checkpoint.
Across the curbs, and the chicane. Wow, I tell you what, I'm massively impressed with the ride quality.
However, by the second checkpoint, the Polestar is a quarter of a second behind the Tesla.
Glass corner, turn it in, understand, come on, I want to go there, not there.
The Polestar crosses the line in 47.88, just over half a second behind the Model 3. The Polestar is a well-made piece of kit, and I was really impressed by its handling. But if you've got 50 grand to blow, and you want the absolute fastest of these two luxury EVs, then Tesla just pips Polestar.
I are spellbound by Kia's new EV6.
Mate, you're a witch.
Electrifying entertainment on Quest.
It's the third and final day of our German getaway. Everything's electric. On day one, we were blown away by the new EVs at the Munich Motor Show.
That is absolutely bonkers.
And on day two, we had exclusive drive in the solar-powered Sono Sail.
I like what they're trying to do here around our course.
This is new cars coming out for 2022.
It's bonkers, isn't it? It's the Bmw Vision Air circular concept. And the idea behind it is that it's designed to be 100% recyclable. The concept is that they can build a car that they can just, keep going over and over again.
iVision is BMW's concept of what their cars will look like in 2040.
No badge on the front end. That's been etched in. So there's no plastic badge, no metal left over and wasted that you can't recycle.
However, as soon as 2025, all new BMWs will be made from recycled materials.
Hey, I like that. Suicide doors. It's mad, isn't it? Genuinely mad. It does look a bit like a Pip's living room.
I quite like it in a weird way.
We're going to the Mercedes stand.
2030 is when Mercedes have committed to moving their entire range across to electric power.
This is a bit of you.
Absolutely. I love a G-Wagon.
This EQG electric concept demonstrates that Mercedes are in no hurry to mess with the G-Wagon's 40-year-old lines.
I like the look of it. I just don't like the way they drive. It's like it's a tank.
Well, presumably this will be much less like a tank because it's
Oh,
electric,
yeah, that's
much
right,
more refined,
Yeah.
probably with more power as well. It's got a motor in each wheel.
Yeah.
It could be better off-road because you've got much more control. You can send torque wherever you want it.
Absolutely, yeah. It does look cool on the
I want one, I'm sorry.
Next, we're heading over to the Audi stand.
Audi Grand Sphere Concept. Probably one of the best looking cars out there, I think.
It's beautiful.
So this is their vision of their next flagship car. It will sit alongside the A8. It won't replace it, but it'll be right there at the very top. And you've got an illuminated Audi
That's
logo.
the nicest looking front end of an electric car I've ever seen.
Well, the back's not bad either. Inside, though, do you notice no steering wheel? So the idea behind this is that it's level 4 autonomous.
The UK government are looking to greenlight some self-driving cars by the end of the year. But until then, Audi have a plan B.
God, that is absolutely bonkers.
Across town, Chinese giants Great Wall were showcasing their new electric brand, Aura.
Wait, what is that?
That is the Aura Cat 03. It's a bit mad, isn't it? They do loads of these.
Horrible.
It's probably one of the weirdest shapes of car I think I've ever seen.
But you shouldn't judge a book by its weird-looking cover.
It does look like quality.
Colourful leather. Looks all right.
Yeah,
Wouldn't drive it, but it looks all right.
It wouldn't be my choice of car.
Great Wall have already announced that Aura cars will be coming to the UK later this year.
But just around the corner,
Yes. Jason, Renault 5.
Mate.
with a starting price of just 17 grand, Renault are hoping to attract the same market as its hugely popular petrol-powered namesake.
My goodness.
I love it.
Do you remember these back in the day? They're awesome, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just brought it bang up to date with a brand new prototype.
I do this stuff.
I'll confess to being a Renault fanboy. After all, I did start my touring car career with them.
Look how modern it is, but it's still a Renault 5.
It really
It's still
is.
got that shape. I like it. It's great.
I think we can agree that EVs are not just a passing fad. They're here to stay. Everybody's doing them.
I mean, it is EV kind of only in there, isn't
It really is, yeah. Anything stand out for you? Anything that wasn't the Renault 5?
How lovely is that?
Awesome.
You know, that's probably my favourite. How about you?
I do like the Audi. I feel like it's a bit too far off into the realms of not being a real actual thing, but it is beautiful to look at. Well, listen, mate, I know you love driving cars more than you like looking at them, so I've had a look around and I made contact with a very interesting company, and I've arranged for the two of us to go and have a look at it.
Well, so what is it then?
Cheers.
Cheers, boy.
Join us later as our German adventure continues with an exclusive test drive of a truly revolutionary new city car.
Now it's time to get a first look and first drive of a brand new EV. Yes, it's the 5th Gear Recharged Team Test.
Today, the team tested the Citroën Ami.
Citroën says the Ami is not a car, but a Citroën is also expecting the Ami to become a popular short-term rental, and it's already being driven on the streets of France.
So it is a quadricycle, which means that you don't have to have a full driving licence to have it.
What do you mean you don't need a licence?
So it's a quadricycle. So
Can
it
you
doesn't
legally
have to...
drive it on the road?
Yeah.
At what age?
14 in
14
in France.
It's worth noting, however, that unlike France, here in the UK, you'll need to be 17 and have a full licence to drive the Ami, whilst on average across European countries, you'll need to be 16.
I'd love to have had this when I was 16 or 14. I'd have moved to France for it.
Has it got any airbags?
No.
Crumple zones?
No.
So it's got no safety tech?
No.
And kids can drive it on the public road?
Yes, but I would rather have them in this than, say, an e-scooter.
I got knocked off my bicycle 3 times. If you had a teenager, they're going to be safer in this than riding their push bike around.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
I do. I love it.
I think we all quite liked it. Except Jason, he didn't like it at all.
It's just a stupid thing, isn't it? I mean, I hate it.
We came up with an idea.
The Ami is supposed to be an alternative transport to walking or bicycling. So we put it up against a bicycle.
Only one of us actually rides a bike.
To check out Lamborghini's take on the petrol-electric hybrid. And armed with 2 flavours of Voxel Corsa, petrol and electric, Jimmy DeVille and Rory tried to settle once and for all which is the cheaper car to own and run.
What's the number? What's the number?
No, this is a dodgy calculator.